It's 10 p.m. Do you know what your kids did today?
Sign before January 1st and earn $5,000 from Oakwood Custom Homes.
Local, trusted. This is News 3 at 10 on KBTX.
Today, an off-duty San Antonio Independent School District officer was killed when he was run over in an IHOP parking lot. Tonight, San Antonio police are searching for a man wanted in connection to his murder. Authorities say Cliff Martinez was working as an off-duty security guard at the IHOP when he tried to break up a fight in the parking lot. Police say men assaulted the officer, got into a vehicle, and ran him over on purpose. He was pronounced dead at the scene. The suspected driver of the car was arrested earlier today after witnesses saw him run from the scene. San Antonio police said 23-year-old Jorge Lopez was charged with capital murder. However, police are searching tonight for a second suspect. Authorities say 29-year-old Alfredo Martinez is wanted on a capital murder charge for his involvement in the death of Cliff Martinez. Martinez was a member of the San Antonio ISD Police Department for 28 years. Tonight, a woman is dead and another injured after authorities say they were attacked by 3 pit bulls in North Houston. Authorities say a man called 911 just before 6 o'clock this morning to report that his wife had been attacked by dogs in a North Houston neighborhood. At the scene, police found the woman had been bitten multiple times. She was taken to a hospital and was expected to survive her injuries. Soon after arriving at the scene, police received another call, this one from the dog's owner. The owner reported his dogs had attacked a woman and her body was in a ditch in front of his home. The dogs were taken away by authorities. Police say the case will be referred to the Harris County District Attorney's Office to determine if any charges could be filed against the dog's owner. 6 people were killed in an apartment fire in Las Vegas earlier today. Las Vegas authorities say residents in the building were apparently using their stoves for heat, which caused the fire. A fire department spokesman says some residents were forced to jump from upper floor windows to escape the heavy smoke. Officials say the fire appears to be accidental. Well, the College Station man was arrested on a couple charges yesterday afternoon after crashing his vehicle into a pole. 39-year-old David Perdue was arrested after police say he crashed his pickup truck into a utility pole on Brothers Boulevard. Police said he then asked a witness not to call police. He allegedly told police he'd consumed 6 beers earlier in the afternoon. He is also facing a charge for unlawfully carrying a weapon. Police said a loaded gun was found inside his vehicle. More than a week after a Texas mother and her infant daughter disappeared, Houston residents are horrified that the national search ended in a death investigation on their street. Melissa Rainey has more.
It's very upsetting. Sorry. Just the thought, that she's been over there for a week.
A community is reeling from a grim discovery in their quiet neighborhood. The search for a missing woman and her newborn garnered national attention and came to a tragic end on Friday.
When somebody that isn't expected to, do a thing like that and it happens, you just have a bad feeling. And when it, comes to be true, it's just sad, very sad.
Heidi Broussard and her 1-month-old daughter, Margot Carey, were last seen on December 12th after Broussard dropped off an older child at an elementary school in Austin, Texas. More than a week later, investigators located her body in the trunk of a car more than 100 miles away in Houston.
Everyone hoping for an outcome different than the one it appears that we had, and that is with a loss of life.
A baby authorities believe to be Broussard's daughter was found alive. They're awaiting DNA testing to confirm her identity. A suspect arrested in connection with the case has appeared in court on charges of kidnapping and tampering with a corpse.
Megan Firamuska.
Her attorney says she was transported to Austin late Friday. She's being held on a $600,000 bond. I'm Melissa Rainey reporting.
Well, taking a look at weather, it's starting to look and really feel a lot more like Christmas, especially tonight. A nice jacket weather.
It is, definitely. And for the first day of winter, it was kind of nice to actually see temperatures coincide with where they should sit for this time of year. So it's officially the winter solstice. We don't actually hit winter until 10:19 this evening, but it is the shortest daylight day that we have all year long. 10 hours and 9 minutes is about the best we can do, but as we get closer to June, it's only up from here. We'll gain about 4 more hours of daylight as we continue on over the next couple of months. but I mentioned it felt exactly where it should for this time of year. We officially hit a high of 61 degrees here in Bryan College Station. That is where the temperatures should sit. A lot of us made it into the upper 50s. If you didn't make it to the 60s today, just wait a couple more days. We've got plenty more 60s in the forecast. But overall, Christmases here in the Brazos Valley really have seen the coldest weather from 11 degrees back in 1983 to 85. No snowfall, and this year looks to kind of fall right in the middle. I think 73 degrees is about where we'll sit as we get closer to Christmas Day. But we've got a lot more things to unpack with this forecast. We'll get you more details on it coming up in a few minutes.
Thank you very much, Erica. On the longest night of the year, the community gathered to remember those who experienced homelessness and who lost their lives over the last year. News 3's Kendall Hogan was there as the names were read amongst candlelight.
Candles were lit and the community gathered in remembrance Saturday night at Twin City Mission's shelter.
We get to remember those that we've lost over the past year. Aileen Pollock. Al Sims.
This vigil is held every year on the winter solstice because from sunset to sunrise, it is the longest night of the year.
For those who are homeless and maybe sleeping on the streets, it will truly be the longest night of the year. And it's cold. You see we're all in sweaters and jackets.
Until you've been there or know somebody that's been there, you can't fully understand. But once you have been there, you'll never forget.
Jason Macy is a client of the shelter. On any given night, more than 500,000 people across the country, just like Jason, are without a home.
The homeless problem in America is immense. It's something that, in my humble opinion, constantly gets swept under the rug.
It's nights like this that the shelter hopes bring awareness to the homeless in our community.
They were a part of this community and that they're not forgotten.
In Bryan, Kendall Hogan, News 3.
The shelter says they always have a spot for anyone in the Brazos Valley who needs a roof over their head. Well, a local playground is getting some extra help from a local Christmas attraction. The Fun for All playground is today's Cocoa for a Cause at Santa's Wonderland, just south of College Station. The sales of hot chocolate will benefit Phase 2 of the playground for people of all abilities. The second phase will include the Carolyn and John David Grove Field, a Founders Plaza, and sensory area at Central Park.
And Santa's Wonderland stepped up just like a lot of individuals and businesses have done in our community to help us get that playground Phase 2 going.
Cocoa for a Cause. It's an awesome concept because the guests get to participate. You know, so we also have a table set up where the guests can go by and visit and pick up literature.
You still have a little bit of time to head to the park today if you'd like to support the effort. Santa's Wonderland closes at midnight. Well, kids from the Brazos Valley grabbed their guitars and rocked out this afternoon. School of Rock hosted its winter concert at Hurricane Harry's, complete with lights and a crowd cheering them on like a real rock show. Kids from 7 years old to 18 rocked out to 90s songs. School of Rock offers private lessons in both singing and multiple different instruments.
What we do is so unique because it takes children that maybe they don't fit in sports, maybe they don't fit in school or in any other organization that they've tried, but they love music, they're artistic, they want to learn how to play an instrument, they just want to have fun.
The School of Rock will be starting its spring classes in January. President Donald Trump signed a sweeping $1.4 trillion spending package on Friday, avoiding a government shutdown. The package consists of two bills that include pay raises for military and government workers, raising the federal tobacco buying age from 18 to 21, as well as authorizing the new Space Force branch of the military. And while it does include funding for the border wall, the measure maintains the current funding of $1.37 billion, which is significantly less than the roughly $8.6 billion the administration has been seeking. The bills will keep the government funded through the end of September. Coming up on this week's From the Ground Up, how artificial intelligence is making things easier for farmers. And later in sports, the Aggie men's basketball team with an impressive outing against Oregon State. Tyler has those highlights coming up.
And it looks like Heat Miser may have control over Christmas here across the Brazos Valley, but there are some changes that are headed our way once we look past Christmas Day. We'll let you know what those are and how cool or warm we'll end up being for the holiday right after this.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from KBTX. News 3 weather from the Pinpoint Forecast team is sponsored by the Bank and Trust, Local Bank, Local Bankers. And now, local weather.
Dense fog advisories are in place tonight from points up towards Wichita all the way north of the Metroplex. So if your travel plans take you that direction early tomorrow morning, just kind of keep that in mind, maybe allow for a few extra minutes. We may see a little bit of this fog trying to mix in our direction. We'll run you through a pinpoint forecast and you can see where we start to see some of these values getting closer to that 1 mile and then closer to the half-mile visibilities. That's where some of that fog could be dense at times. I don't necessarily think everybody sees the fog, but for folks that picked up on some of the rain yesterday and the fact that we've got clear skies in place tonight, it does create some of those perfect conditions to see a little bit of that fog developing as we head into early tomorrow morning. High pressure is in place. This is really going to be the biggest weather maker that we have in our forecast the next couple of days. As a low pressure system continues to slip off towards the east, it's the one that brought us that little bit of rain yesterday. But as we run you through a pinpoint forecast, what you'll see is things generally stay pretty quiet. We're already at Sunday night, not too much in the way of cloud cover. We're scrubbed through Monday, not much in the way of cloud cover there either. And then even as we head into your Tuesday, we may be seeing a little bit more of these clouds trying to work in from the west, but overall it's a very sunny outlook for the next couple of days. This though is our next weather maker, and it will play an impact in our forecast, especially as we get towards Christmas and then beyond. Christmas Day, I do think we start to work in a few more clouds. That's the signal that those changes are on the way. And then by Thursday, Friday, and then especially into your Saturday, that's really where the bulk of this moisture looks to come back in, and it comes in the form of our next cold front. So we're going to be watching a few different things here, but what you'll notice is there's kind of this big bullseye here right over the state of Texas. It's basically where in the next 6 to 10 days, we've got that 50 to 70% chance to see a little bit more of that rainfall coming here across the state of Texas. And it's rainfall we desperately need. So far for the month, we've picked up under ½ of an inch of rain. That's almost 2 inches below where we should be for this time of the year. And really, it's almost 3 inches for the year overall. Since July, we've been sitting below average all year long. And unfortunately, we're trying to work in some of this rain, and we'll see what we can do. But the outlook just hasn't been too promising all month long. So here's where temperatures sit. You'll notice we'll be back close to the low 60s as we head into tomorrow. The heat slowly starts to build in as we would turn winds back out of the south. And then come Christmas Day, we're already back up into the mid 70s. This could still change. We've still got a lot of details to work out with this forecast because a lot of kind of inconsistencies still sit once we get towards Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. But right now, things are going to be quiet, and that's really what the forecast holds for us over the next couple of days. It's the mid 40s tonight. Winds are light out of the north, and you can see a few places trying to check into the mid and upper 30s. I think that's basically about as cold as some folks are going to get, but the low 40s I think is where most of us will sit as we head into your Sunday morning. Again, could have a few light clouds, could have a little bit of that fog first thing. Otherwise, it's plenty of sunshine throughout the day. Temperature-wise, we're back to the mid 50s by lunchtime, and then as we get towards the afternoon, I think a lot of us are making it into the low 60s. A little bit more sunshine, though, could mean a couple mid 60s, certainly not out of the question here across the area. But overall, I really think it's going to be a beautiful outlook for the next several days. If you've got plans for Christmas and you've got the kiddos getting some of those gifts that want to try them out outside, the weather looks perfect for that. And again, we'll have to watch Friday into your Saturday. That's really kind of that time frame where we've got some inconsistencies in the forecast. One model says it might wait until the weekend. The other says, no, I think it might come in Friday. So we'll have to iron out some of those details. Overall, soggy weekend does look to be kind of in the forecast as we head into next weekend.
Looks like a lot of good opportunities to take pictures outside.
Absolutely.
The next few days all week will be great for get those family pictures in.
Yeah, I think so.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Erica. Well, don't go anywhere. From the Ground Up is up next, right after this break. While the use of artificial intelligence in agriculture is relatively new, there are some applications that are currently being utilized in ag machinery. There are a lot more that look very promising moving forward. Shel Winkley has more in this week's From the Ground Up.
We want to be able to use artificial intelligence to automate machinery itself so that potentially in the future we might have tractors that are fully autonomous, basically robots in the field that can not only navigate themselves but can also detect obstacles and get around obstacles and that kind of thing.
Alex Thomason is a biological and agricultural engineering professor at Texas A&M and says that beyond that, artificial intelligence can be used to help farmers optimize the inputs they put into the field.
So that's everything from irrigation water to, pesticides, herbicides. Where should they be? How much should we put out? When should we put those things out? All those things can be optimized ultimately at a finer and finer level. Today we kind of tend to do things on a whole field basis or even a whole farm basis. Farmers that are using precision ag technology sort of break their fields up into management zones. That's a great thing to do. I think as we get further and further in this, we're going to see those management zones get smaller and smaller.
Thomason says that there are a lot of companies now that are collecting all kinds of data.
There's the My John Deere system where your tractor, your harvester sort of automatically uploads data to the cloud. And there are things going on in those cloud-based systems where they analyze data from everybody and they use the artificial intelligence analysis to enable them to learn more things that they can help individual farmers with. They might recommend a particular variety of cotton or corn or wheat, or they might recommend particular methods of production.
I'm Shel Winkley, looking at Central Texas agriculture from the ground up.
From the Ground Up is sponsored by Producers Cooperative, proudly serving agriculture since 1943.
Coming up next in sports, the Aggie men's basketball team with a huge win over Oregon State, plus the Texans won the AFC South thanks to some big defensive plays against the Buccaneers.
Fly-by cameras are sponsored by Norman G. Tractor. Nobody beats Norman G. Tractor.
Sports is sponsored by Allen Honda, corner of Southwest Parkway and Highway 6. Allen's got your Honda. From the KBTX Sports Center, News 3 Sports starts now.
Texas A&M men's basketball is back at Reed Arena tonight for some holiday hoops. The Aggies are looking for their second win in a row, while Oregon State is riding a 7-game winning streak. Aggies and Beavers meeting for just the third time, the series tied at 1 game apiece. Start things off in the first half. The Aggies have a quick lead, but it's Oregon State getting it back. Ethan Thompson dishes to Zach Reichel in the corner for 3, and that's going to give the Beavers a 30-22 halftime lead. Out of the break, Beavers holding on to the lead. Thompson underneath to Kyler Kelly. He gets the layup and the and one. 38-31 lead, but the Aggies battle all the way back off the miss. J.J. Chandler gets the rebound and somehow hits this triple before the shot clock expires. It's a 4-point play, and the Aggies go up 39-38. That's going to get the crowd on their feet. Quentin Jackson drives, shot misses, but Josh Nebo is there to slam it in to give the Aggies a 41-38 advantage. Oregon State ties it back up. Trey Tinkle gets the layup and foul. Game knotted at 41. They never regain the lead. Here's Nebo with one of his 8 blocks. Jackson picks it up and finds Savion Flagg for the lay-in. Aggies pull off this upset, 64-49. And the Aggie women wrapped up the Coquille Classic in Puerto Rico. They beat Montana State 78-67, and they'll be in action again next Sunday when they host A&M Corpus Christi. A&M football is just 6 days away from the Texas Bowl against Oklahoma State. One of the big matchups in this game will be Cowboy running back Chuba Hubbard. Hubbard led the entire nation in rushing with 1,936 yards. Hubbard scored 21 touchdowns for Oklahoma State. Meanwhile, the Aggies' rush defense allowed nearly 130 yards on the ground a game. So they'll definitely have their hands full trying to stop Hubbard.
And that guy can run it. He got power. He got speed. He can make you miss and catch. I mean, he's a complete back and just knows how to tempo runs. I mean, not just contempt and all of a sudden the accelerations, the decelerations, it makes you miss the levels, getting that shoulder down, not taking shots, delivering shots. Extremely natural in everything he does. I mean, there's nothing he can't do. I mean, complete player. Complete player.
The 7th 1,000-yard rusher the Aggies have faced this season. Now, Sam Houston men's basketball in Huntsville against New Orleans, trying to build on a 3-game winning streak. First half off the miss, Zach Newtall with the offensive board, and he's able to put it back up for 2 of his team-high 19 points. Bearcats down by 2. Second half, Bearcats starting to roll. They give and go. Xavier Bryant finishes in transition with the alley-oop layup. Then Kai Mitchell is going to get the ball down low, and he lays it in for 2 of his 16, and the Bearcats get revenge from last year's conference tournament, winning 87-79. The Sam Houston women on the road at New Orleans, a dominant first half helped propel the Bearcats to a 78-46 blowout. They're going to be back in Huntsville Monday, December 30th. The Houston Texans on the road for some Saturday football in Tampa. First pass from Tampa Bay's Jameis Winston, and it's intercepted by Bradley Roby. Roby takes it back 27 yards for the pick 6 and a quick score for Houston. Texans add to their lead in the second. Carlos Hyde punches it in from a yard out, and it's a 17-3 Houston lead. But to end the half, Winston scrambling out of the pocket. He somehow finds Justin Watson in the tight window, and the Buccaneers tied up at 17 apiece heading into the break. Now up by 3, Houston is going to seal it as Jaleel Addae picks off Winston. That's Winston's 4th interception of the day, and Texans win the AFC South with a 23-20 victory. The Texas High School State Championships in 6A Division I, a rematch from last year's Hail Mary game. Duncanville taking on North Shore. Mustangs strike first with their dynamic quarterback Demetrius Davis using his legs, and he's going to weave his way into the end zone for 6 points. Duncanville comes back and responds. Roderick Daniels on the handoff. He turns the corner and he's into the end zone. It's a tie ball game. Duncanville would then take the lead. The freshman quarterback Chris Carson calls his own number and he goes untouched for the score. But it's North Shore taking the final lead of the game on this Roger Hagan TD. The Mustangs win 31-17 and they're back-to-back state champions. In the 5A Division II state title game, Texas A&M signee Devin Achane had himself a game for Fort Bend Marshall. Achane had 17 carries for 176 yards, 2 rushing touchdowns. He also added 121 receiving yards. Achane's Buffaloes knocked off both A&M Consolidated and Huntsville in the playoffs, but they fell short in their title game to Aledo, 45-42. It's a lot of great high school action today. The season is now officially over with the final title games, and great to see some future A&M guys performing out there.
Very exciting. Aggies, Bearcats, NFL, and high school football championships too. It's just everything today.
It's a little busy day, yeah.
Thank you very much, Tyler. We'll have a little bit more after the break, but first, a quick look outside from our Live On Network.
Here are tonight's winning lottery numbers, sponsored by Star Furniture and Mattresses. Come see the new star, starfurniture.com. Happy holidays from KBTX.
TxDOT is encouraging drivers to be safe this holiday season with a Star Wars theme. I saw this tonight on Highway 6 in South Brazos County near Santa's Wonderland. The digital message sign said, "Baby Yoda uses a car seat. Be safe, he will." And they also said, "The rise of safe driver to end the streak." TxDOT using some humor to try to reduce accidents on our roads and keep people a little bit safer. It's pretty clever.
Yeah, I've seen other states doing the same thing, and it's always kind of fun if you are traveling on the roads to see what kind of creative things people can kind of come up with.
Right, it's like Twitter for the road signs, right?
Safe
Right.
way to get it entertained, I guess, other than the radio.
Keep you entertained. Think twice about being safe as well, and just
Exactly.
I don't know. It's very, very creative, like you said, to see what they come up with next. They're always keeping us on our toes when we drive by.
Absolutely. Well, let's get a look at your forecast real quick. You notice we do have a little bit of that fog. It's going to be possible. It's not a guarantee that everybody sees it tomorrow morning, but I think we've got just enough key players in check tomorrow morning that we could see some of it trying to form. Otherwise, the clouds clear on out of here. Temperature-wise, we're back close to the mid-50s by lunchtime, and then it's the low 60s by the afternoon. So really, we're headed into a really beautiful streak of next couple of days. I mean, we're headed back close to about 70 degrees by Christmas Day, and then as we head past that, then we have got a few more chances for rain trying to pop back into that forecast.
Beautiful week coming up. Thank you very much, Erica. That's all our time tonight. Join us tomorrow night for News 3 at 10.